Cool. We've got John in the studio from the Center for Hope of the Sierras. First of all, tell us what that is and where you guys are located.
Sure, absolutely. Center for Hope is a treatment facility for patients who are dealing with, struggling with eating disorders. And we are located in Reno. We actually have two facilities. One is on Lakeside and the other is right off of Hunter Lake Drive on Pass Drive.
So you guys deal, what we're talking about today are eating disorders more than anything. And it's common out there. It really is.
Yes.
And there's some signs you can look into or, notice that can potentially help somebody.
Yes, and what generally happens is that treatment needs to start with some incentive and some motivation, and that usually comes from awareness. And so we have and need families to really look at their loved ones, their behaviors, to see if they may be struggling. And so there are things out there like, are you noticing an excessive amount of weight loss in your loved one over a short period of time? Is there a common needing to visit the restroom after every meal, and it just seems to be a frequent, regular pattern? Are they dealing with excessive exercise, which is also one way that people compensate via via an eating
that can be a disorder as well. Working out too much.
Yes,
I mean it really can be. It sounds sort of crazy, but it can be. What about, and tell me if this is true or not, the smell of their breath? Have you ever heard of that?
Yes. Well, one of the big things that happens with people who are what we call binge purgers, so they eat a lot of food, but then they vomit their intake. They often have issues with their teeth because of that excessive frequent vomiting and that decay of all that enamel.
The bile?
Yes,
from
the
your
bile,
stomach, right?
and so then that could lead to that.
Wow. Okay.
Bad
Cool.
breath.
So, how do people get more information on the Center for Hope, and what do you guys want to really push out there to the community? Well,
we want the community to have a real awareness that eating disorders are really common. 10 million people in this country suffer from eating disorders, and it is really undertreated. So there is a lot of prevalence, but not a lot of treatment happening. And so we want people to bring this awareness to their loved ones, because oftentimes loved ones are in denial, and they don't want to see that they have a problem and that they need help.
Or they're scared of the conflict of addressing it. And so that's where you guys sort of come into play and sort of act as a mediator, would you say?
Absolutely. Yeah. We often get calls from parents that say, my child is dealing with this or this. How can we approach it? How do we best handle it so that we can get them to a place where they recognize their own issues and need to come in?
Yeah, you guys get to be the heavy or the bad guy, and then the mom or the loved one can sort of step aside and let you guys help out.
Absolutely.
How can people get more information?
So they can go to our website, which is www.centerforhopeofthesierras.com, all spelled out. And then they can also call us at 775-828-4949. All
right, easy as that. Is there a cost to this, or is it sort of like a community type? Is there any sort of cost associated with it?
Well, the initial calls, that's all without cost, and then if we get to the point where we see that somebody needs to come in for treatment, then we accept most private insurances, and if we don't accept the insurance, we usually can get a single case agreement. So that's the bulk of our patients come in.
Yeah, you can't put a price on health.
Yes,
exactly. I always say that. So you could have all the money in the world, but if you're not healthy, it's not worth anything.
Very true.
All right, John. Thanks for coming in and spreading the word.
All right. No problem.
All right, that's going to do it for this interview. We'll be back right after this break.